Totally forgot that we're still here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put the design over here, and then cue the intro.
And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
And here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. Picked off. Look out. Get back Manning. And it's Tracy Porter taking it all the way. Touchdown, New Orleans.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just 1 week away. This is the last Thursday without football. Ben, welcome back to the show. Last week, you were absent because of a vacation, much needed. From what I hear, it was a good time, but why don't you tell us just a little bit more about that?
Yeah, like you said, much needed. Good to be back for sure, though. And Matt killed it. Good job, Matt.
Yeah.
No, I just I went camping. So it was lots of fun. And yeah, I tuned in for a little bit. I was in a tent full of people, but like you said, it was much needed. But it's good to be back on this side of the podcast. So
Yeah, for sure. I had a little trip myself today, just to kind of get away for just a little bit. Get away from the stress that is life. And I got to meet some Bears players. Got to meet some personnel, but we can dive into that just a little bit later. We had a lot of fun, and I may or may not have talked to a potential future guest, so that's in the works. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into weekly news, and then I'll go ahead and tell my story. So for those of people that are tuning in strictly just to hear about it, because I've really hyped up the show, thank you guys for staying with us tonight with all of the technical difficulties and everything. Really happy to be live tonight. So weekly news. So Kyler Murray got extended. He got this clause that
and it's taken out now, but it's so hilarious.
So the clause was he needs to be able to study film for a certain amount of time because he obviously can't hold himself accountable for whatever reason. And so it's just, very, very touchy situation to the point to where the Cardinals got bullied into taking it off of his contract. So embarrassing, man. I'll be completely honest because I'll dive into that later. But anyways,
4 hours of independent study a week. No, they came out saying that he studied fine and they just did it to like hold him accountable. And if he didn't study fine, they would have left it in there.
Right.
But I just think it's funny that had to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's funny, but I'm glad it's out and I had some good jokes about it though.
Yeah. The Seahawks are signing DK Metcalf to a 3-year extension. Very, very much needed extension, by the way. It sucks as a Bears fan being like, oh, well, this isn't happening anymore. But at the same time, what were the actual chances of this happening? Teams in need of a wide receiver were looking at this for a long time, but DK is going to stay a Seahawk for the next 3 years. Solid, well-deserved. I think that's just about it for that one, right?
Yeah, 3 years, $27 million, which puts him, I think, as the 8th highest paid football. Okay. He's probably not the best. He's definitely not the 8th best receiver in football. But again, young players get paid. And like you said, it's a 3-year extension, so not a 3-year contract. His contract was going to be up after this year, so he's still under contract for 4 years with them. And like I said, that's 24 million. So that puts him right there at 8, and that's about time for him to get his money. The only two left, or the only person left now, is Debo and Dante, but Debo.
We shall see. The Jets are also signing linebacker Quan Alexander to a 1-year deal. Simple move. I mean,
I know Matt's sad about it.
yeah, just a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. This Jets team just, I mean, keeps chipping away, filling a little hole here every once in a while. But very, I mean, they've been on it this offseason. I think they've been killing it so far.
Oh, for
Then
sure.
they're definitely trending upwards compared to what they've been doing in the past. The Chiefs are signing pass rusher Carlos Dunlap to a 1-year deal as well. Again, same thing as the Jets, I believe. Just kind of chipping away at it, filling a little hole, getting some depth. Nothing crazy. But one thing that happened today that was very crazy, devastating to Buccaneers fans when I read it. Buccaneers center Ryan Jensen went down during training camp today and had to be carted off the field. And reports are making it sound like Jensen has a significant knee injury. You hate to see it. I mean, this is awful. You don't wish this upon anybody, no matter who it is. And it's just, I mean, unfortunate. I mean, this was one of the guys that I really wanted as a Bears fan, but Jensen, I mean, obviously a top tier guy. But at the same time, is it ridiculous to say that I'm expecting fully that JC Treader is going to be a Buccaneer here within the next 24 to 48 hours? Just because of this?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be too surprised. Like you said, he is 31. He's been fairly healthy. All Pro Bowl. It's a shame to see him to go down like this. But yeah, I we'll see who the backup is. I'm blanking on his name. He was a kid out of Notre Dame. But yeah, he's a kid out of Notre Dame. I don't quite remember what his name is, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they bring someone in to at least give the kid some competition.
Robert Hainsey was who you were thinking about. Speaking of the Buccaneers, Julio Jones has signed with the Buccaneers. Another depth move, but it's like, wow. Like, if that's your depth piece, like, I mean, I know that he's fallen off, but he's still Julio Jones. Like, Julio Jones with Tom Brady. Oh, dude, it's crazy. The amount of depth that team has is ridiculous. But it also makes me wonder because they paid Russell Gage pretty fairly earlier this offseason. So where does Julio rank among the depth chart with Russell Gage? I mean, that question has to be brought up. It's very clear that Julio Jones is on a downward trend, but Russell Gage, I mean, didn't have a terrible season last season. So
no, they have like a good group of 6 wide receivers. It's crazy. They have Julio Jones, Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's going to be out for a bit because he tore his ACL in week 15, I think.
Yeah.
Then Mike Evans, Russell Gage, Scott Miller. People forget that he exists, but dude's quick, dude's speedy.
Yes.
And then they have Tyler Johnson, which was a wide receiver they drafted last year, I think in the 4th round. So they have a group of like a solid 6. And honestly, I think the reason they did that is just because both Mike Evans and, like I said, Chris Godwin went down. So they're kind of trying to protect themselves a little bit, and hopefully they're not, stuck in a rabbit hole. But having those group of 6 as your wide receiver, I mean, that has to be the best in the league, and that's coming from an Eagles fan. So
yeah, but I mean, it's stunning. I mean, we went over it. The Buccaneers look deadly. We've already said it before. I think that they have tremendous upside. People kind of sleeping on this team, dare I say. I know that they're considering them as title contenders, but I feel like when people are talking about it, the Buccaneers aren't really as likely to come up in conversations as much as like the Rams are, or the Eagles even are getting some
I'd take
publicity
him
after
over
the
the
trade.
Eagles and Rams right now for sure.
But yeah, I mean, just as far as media publicity goes, I feel like the Buccaneers are not getting as much attention as they should be. But speaking of teams that need more attention, the Vikings, in my opinion, need more. But the Vikings GM says Kirk Cousins is, quote, good, but not Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. It's like, dude, yeah, all right. Like, people are making a mountain out of a molehill with that one. Obviously, he's not among top 3, but he's still pretty decent. And
Well,
people are like, well, what if they fill this hole? Like, it's not a hole. Like, you're good.
what the other part of the quote that people leave out, which I think is a far more concerning quote, is their GM said that he was contemplating with the idea of burning it down at quarterback or staying with Kirk Cousins. And as Kirk Cousins, that has to be concerning because you think this guy's on your side. You just signed a 1-year, $40 million extension. And for him to come out the first day of training camp to say, maybe we're going to get rid of him. Like, that doesn't strike so much confidence in your
Yeah,
quarterback.
it's not a good look. And one of the things too, I mean, dare I say, even if they do trade him for just draft compensation, they kind of had a good backup that me and you
Kellen
kind of
Mond.
really, really like. Just so happens to be, I don't know, Kellen Mond. Dear God, please give him an opportunity. I would
Please.
love to see this guy just thrive because of how much this previous head coach just bashed him. He's like, I'm not giving him any reps, like blah blah. It's like, dude, you're a scrub. The Dolphins have signed Mohamed Sanu. Again, depth piece. Not a bad depth piece, but definitely not exactly where he was before. And then a little bit more unfortunate news. Seahawks running back Chris Carson is retiring after the neck injury that he sustained last season, and it's just been consistent throughout this offseason. He's not able to shake it, so he's done. He's hanging him up. Man, this kind of sucks. I mean, he had some good years, man. Good fantasy years.
Yeah, it's a shame to see him go. But like at a certain point, it's time for you to hang up your cleats after the injury he had too.
Mhm.
It was he had a spinal surgery, and I guess he wasn't recovering from it as well as you'd like. And honestly, if anyone's having a spinal surgery and not recovering from it really well, you should kind of cool the physicality. But like you said, it's a shame to see him to leave.
Yeah. So Danny Amendola is retiring as well. To be honest with you, I didn't know that he wasn't retired. So
Yeah.
okay. Rookie receivers John Mechie and Justin Ross likely will not play this season. Mechie has been diagnosed with the type of leukemia, and Justin Ross has been put on the IR. Mechie is a big smack in the face, and I hope the best for him. I hope
For him and his family.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope everything, heals up quickly as far as, just health wise. And then he's able to come back and be a strong receiver as much as everybody expects him to be. As far as Justin Ross, as much as I am high on this guy, it's not shocking, but it was cool to see a couple highlights out of, a couple, OTAs that I believe it came from.
Yeah.
So I have 2 headlines before I get into my Bears story that are including, the Bears. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has presented the Bears with a couple renovation prototypes that would involve increasing current seating to 70,000 plus and adding a dome. The dome would also include, for those of you that, haven't seen it yet, the dome would include kind of what SoFi and whatever the Atlanta one's called, the Mercedes-Benz, I believe, Superdome, with the screen kind of wrapping around. They would basically just build on what they have, but it looks very, very good. I only want to say I'm against it because there's no parking. That is one of the biggest things, and you're so landlocked. We've talked about this briefly before. You're landlocked onto that one property. So that sucks. And if you can expand parking for sure, let's do it. But that's a fan's perspective as well. You also have to think about it from the Bears. The city of Chicago owns Soldier Field. It is not a it is city property. It is not the property of Chicago Bears. They're one of the few teams that actually don't have exclusive rights to their stadium. So as a result, that $20 pop and pizza combo that you just bought at the concession stand is going towards the city of Chicago and not so much the Bears. When you're looking at potential ticket sales and hosting Super Bowls and stuff like that, you're definitely looking at making way more money as a franchise and looking to expand upon that, making the team better, stuff like that in a new stadium. Thank you for bringing that up for people that haven't seen it yet. It's sick. I love it so much. But in all honesty, a new stadium just sounds cool in general. I'm personally, like I said, I'm all for it. If they could fix parking, I'm all for it. But that's only because I'd be able to take a train there. Driving all the way to Lake Forest or Arlington would kind of suck. So, but
So
I mean,
I just find it weird too, though. Oh, not meaning to do that. Wow, we're all over the place here, huh? Is the weird indoor outdoor that you guys got going on right there?
yeah,
It's the same thing that
I believe
I
Lucas
know
Oil does the same
SoFi.
thing, right?
Well, no, well this is completely like this isn't windowed in. This
Oh,
is
okay.
open space. And I know SoFi is a weird indoor outdoor thing as well, but at this point, just fill that
Just
space
do
in.
that. Yeah.
It's
What I'm
pointless.
hoping for is that dome is retractable
Yeah.
because in all honesty, one of the things that I'm really gonna miss is bear weather. That's one of the only things historically that you'd hear of about Chicago football, and that's bear weather. I mean,
But that defeats the purpose of having the dome at that point, though.
right? Yeah, absolutely. And you're also looking at Super Bowls, stuff like that, more money. It sucks, but it's a give and take. Whatever. Give me WrestleMania, and it'll be cool. Bears and Roquan Smith are in the middle of contract negotiations, despite the fact that he's on the PUP list. He did show up to training camp today. I saw him in the flesh. Very cool dude. If I would have stayed over to where I was, I probably could have gotten his autograph. But decided to move for these reasons. Let me go ahead and get into my story because this, oh, what a day. Dude, this was ridiculous. So we're walking down. I'll go ahead and share some pictures because I took lots of them. Try not to, let's see, window. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. There it is. So, can I move this? Yeah, I can. All right. Don't look at these. Just picture them as if they're not there. So here's a new helmet. It looks sick. Love it. Tell me that doesn't look way better than the pictures that they took, because this looks like crap. I mean, like in everything that they did prior to that.
Mhm.
That made me very, very excited. We'll say this made me ecstatic about it. Just oh man, just the color. I don't know, but that's a very brief story. I met Staley. He kind of flirted with my mom a little bit. Shout out to my mom for going with me today and driving me there. Very cool. But as we walk to our right just a little bit, this Hallis Hall in the background. As we walk to our right a little bit, we go down the path, and all of a sudden we see this old dude. And I was like, no way. That's not the old dude, is it? And my mom's like, what's up with that old dude? And I was like, all right, look, what you don't know is that this gentleman right here is the chairman of the Chicago Bears, and his mom is Virginia McCaskey, the owner of the Chicago Bears. That guy that has his hand on my shoulder is worth a little over $100 million. And she's like, whoa. Like, she didn't know. But I asked him, I said, so about Arlington, I said, is that a legitimate thing? What are you guys thinking? And he was like, well, I'll be completely honest with you. We're still working on closing this property. But our intentions are to go there. And I said, well, I mean, what about Soldier Field. I said, are we done with Soldier Field at that point? Do we just kind of rule out these next couple of years are our last year soldier? And he kind of looked away and he was like, how do I word this? And he was like, well, I think it's safe to say that our intentions are strictly in Arlington. He's like, take that as you must. And I was like, all right. So after that, I tried to shake his hand, but I'm assuming because of sanitary reasons, he wasn't doing that. I saw him not shake the other guy's hand before. But, I gave him a fist bump, and then he, said, keep rooting for the Navy in orange, said, great things are coming, promise. And then he told my mom, he was like, you raised a good boy. And I was like, oh, dude, hopefully I see you somewhere down the road. Like, this is cool.
Real
Great
quick.
guy. Yeah, for sure.
Didn't he scooter to and from practice?
Yes. And I'm getting there.
Okay.
Very, very weird guy,
Yeah.
because I may or may not have a video of him on a scooter. So yeah. Anyways, so there's this guy on TikTok. His name's Connor Burns, and he's this straight up crazy Bears fan, just as I am. I've talked about him before to you. I don't know if it's been on the show or not, but I saw Connor. I've been on his live stream before. We've talked Bears football before. And so here's a picture of me and Connor. Very cool guy. I told him, I was like, I walked up to him and I was like, Burns? And he goes, no way. And then he looks at me and he goes, Matthews? Because he recognized me from the live stream. I was like, what's up, man? And he dapped me up, and we gave each other a hug and everything. It was really cool. And then I was like, so how about that chairman just kind of casually walking over there? And he's like, dude, I wanted to tell him to sell the team, but just decided, hey, maybe I should stay professional with it. I said, yeah, for sure. This kid's a great kid, and I hope, I talked to him before. He said we're going to try and get him on the show, maybe do a collaboration with his. This kid is a great kid, and I can't wait to get to work with him if this is coming to fruition right before everybody goes to college. So as I previously mentioned, Roquan Smith showing up to practice today, not practicing, but showing up to practice. Now moving on to one of my favorite parts of this whole story. So right after practice, I just kind of walking up, trying to hope to God that I can get some kind of autograph. And sure enough, one of the players that I've been hyping this whole offseason, saying everybody's sleeping on them, right? Dude, this one guy, this pass rusher, he's going to be good, man. Watch out for him. Who is he? Oh, yeah, Travis Gibson. This man, great guy. You can see he is so excited to talk with the fans. Look at this face. Look at this face. I was like, hey, man, I said, Trev, how you doing, man? And he was like, I'm good. And I said, well, I've been telling everybody. I was like, so many people are sleeping on you this year. You have no idea. I was like, you're going to do great things this year, man. And I've been telling all of my friends, like, you're going to kill it. Everybody's sleeping on you, bro. And he goes, look, he said, tell them to keep sleeping on me. You keep riding on that hype train. And he goes, can you sign that? Or, can I sign that football for you? I said, yeah, absolutely. And so I gave him my autographed football, which I'll show you guys here in a sec. And, I let him sign that. I said, do you mind if you sign this helmet too? Let me kind of close out of this really quick. And then I will move to, there we go. So as you can see, a mini helmet that I brought to the scouting combine was signed by Travis Gibson alone. He was a very, very cool guy, and so I wanted him to have his own piece of memorabilia in my room. Very cool piece. I love it. Travis is a great guy. Let's see. So I'll go ahead and I'll bump us back into pictures. So he signed my football, right? Me and him were casually talking, like, almost like we've met before. Here's me and him. Travis Gibson's a great guy. But he was like, do you mind if I take this ball and go get it signed by somebody else? I was like, yeah, man, who you thinking? And, I handed him the ball and he goes, Demont. I was like, what? And so this guy, no joke, let me go ahead and share my screen again because I've got another video. Just a second, I'm sorry. I believe it was this one right here. So I don't know if it'll let me play. Yeah, it'll let me play the video. So here's Travis walking back after talking to David Montgomery. And, right after that, I was like, can you get him to walk over here? Because I was like, maybe I can get a picture with Demont too. And he was like, nah, man, it's a little iffy. I was like, yeah, no worries. And so he went out of his way. This was the only autograph that David Montgomery gave out that day. Travis Gibson went out of his way to do that for me. And this was so cool. The guy was awesome. Might just be my favorite Bear at the moment, to be honest. But here's another picture of him and Demont, Monty signing that ball for
I was
me.
going to say, yeah, for those who don't know who Demon is, he's talking about David Montgomery.
This guy, yeah, great guy. Then offensive lineman Cody Whitehair starts walking up. I get a picture with him as well as his autograph. Very cool guy as well. Oh, yeah, that's Cole Kmet. Me and Cole Kmet, I got his autograph as well. Cole's a very good dude, man. I talked to him just briefly, and I wanted to make a fantasy joke, just be like, hey man, I might draft you for fantasy this year, you got to produce for me. And he'd be like, yeah, I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna do that.
Besides the fact he got clamped by Eddie Jackson at practice today.
He
Besides
didn't though. So like there is one. There's one play where he got clamped. I will say there's struggling to find separation, but then at one point he did find the separation. Caught a beautiful over the shoulder pass that was just perfectly placed by Justin Fields because he can throw the ball and he's really freaking good. Anyways, so we'll get there. Cole Kmet, very cool guy. Larry Borum came up next. Very sad story. This guy, I mean, he's a great dude. But the thing is that he's not necessarily known by the masses as much as the other guys. And so, he came up and he signed a couple things for some kids that, asked for it. And he was just like anybody else, just kind of, and I was like, dude, this poor guy, like, come get a picture with me. This guy's cool. So he was all right. This guy, he's a good guy. But, so there's that for right now. Afterwards, I will say this, as far as interaction goes, Justin Fields, when you hear the whole thing about how he is the first person in, last person out, that is a very, very true statement. He makes sure that he is the last guy off the field, but he is also the first guy on the field, stretching, getting some work in, throwing, stuff like that, getting, extra film studies, stuff like that. So as he was walking off, everybody's chanting, Justin, Justin. And, he kind of puts his hand up and everything. And so I told my mom, I was like, hey, follow me. And so he went to like pretty much where the tunnel was, or not the tunnel, but like kind of the pathway that the players would, walk in. Let me go ahead and share my screen and play this because this is a very brief video. I was standing in the middle of a crowd. Burns was actually to my right. Connor Burns was to my right. But this was the middle of the crowd just for Justin Fields to sign something of these people's.
Oh.
Very, very crazy scene. People were starting to like go past the boundaries that were open to public and stuff like that just so that they can get a glimpse of this guy. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of love that Chicago has shown him so far. It's so good. And so, Staley the Bear riding around on a Segway, a little scooter. I thought that was hilarious. And so I was laughing with my mom afterwards, and I was like, man, like this is just funny to see because I mean, there's nobody by this mascot, and he's just zipping by on a scooter like it's nothing. And the security guard overhears me, and he's like, hey, he's not the only guy on a scooter that rides around. Is like, that's his way to transport. I was like, really? And he was like, yep. He goes, think about, a little higher up. I was like, don't tell me my new GM rides on a scooter. And he goes like, no, think about a little bit bigger. I was like, you're kidding. Well, as you can see here, here's good old George McCaskey. and you're gonna hear me too. here's McCaskey riding a scooter. That's our chairman. I was so disappointed in that. I was like, dude, you're worth over $100 million. You're gonna ride on a scooter. Like, it was hilarious too, because 1920 Football Drive is a very, very long road to Hallis Hall. And you didn't just see it, it's not an electric scooter either. And even if it is, it's a very low charge electric scooter, because you saw him really putting some work into it when he was going down the road. And so I was just like, dude, what a joke. Like, okay. I mean,
Oh, it's
cool guy,
fun.
but but anyways, so I said that I would show it. Here's the football. Let's show it there. So Cody Whitehair. Oh my god, I'm trying to figure out the camera. Cody Whitehair's by this right here. Travis Gibson is right here. David Montgomery right here, and then Cole Kmet right here.
Nice.
So I was stunned. Today was a great day. As far as takeaways from practice, from a Bears fan's point of view, exactly what I want to tell people is it is very, very clear that Justin Fields, David Montgomery, Darnell Mooney, and Cole Kmet have all gotten together this offseason and worked on chemistry, more so to the point to where they're able to pinpoint throws and just kind of figure out where the ball's going to be before it gets there, stuff like that. Things that they weren't able to do when Fields first started. One of the things that I really want to emphasize on too, when Fields first started, he was thrown into it. His very first starting game, he was not given any kind of starting reps, so his chemistry with the team was garbage. The more that the season progressed, you got to see a little bit more growth, and that's when you see the growth between Cole Kmet and Justin Fields, and then Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields, which is why they put on a show in Pittsburgh. What I would like people to know, because as much as Justin Fields is getting bashed, don't get me wrong, he had a terrible season, but the thing is, he's getting starting reps. He knows that he is the guy. The new front office has told him and made it very, very clear at practice, this is the guy. He runs with the ones all the time. There is no running with the twos with him. He is that guy. As far as, chemistry and everything, even Cole Kmet said in a press conference today, he's been able to make throws and catches that, would not happen last year. He said it just wouldn't. Just the way that things work out this year and everything, it's different as far as chemistry. This coaching staff seemed very, very competent today, and that gave me a lot of hope. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to win a Super Bowl, because I don't believe that. But what I will say is that the overall feel and culture of this team has changed significantly within the past 9 months for sure. I will say, you look at Nagy's offense and everything like that, the way that they structured it, and the strengths the Fields had that wasn't necessarily displayed was definitely put on display today. What you see is Fields scrambling outside the pocket more, some more, you might see an out route here and there, but you're seeing a lot more deep routes with Darnell Mooney. Velus Jones Jr. is in the slot now. Very, very, it's not frightening, but exciting to see him there. It's exciting to see this offense progress the way that it should be by a competent coaching staff. Very exciting there. On the defensive side of the ball, Eddie Jackson looked like 2018 Eddie Jackson today. To be fair, the wide receivers he was going up against wasn't necessarily the greatest, but he's very, very good in terms of coverage, at least in practice. Jaquan Brisker started off very, very rocky and kind of put me on a little bit of a notice, like, wow, like kind of nerve-wracking. Is this guy going to start off? However, DeAndre Houston Carson put on a good show. If Brisker can't start week 1, then expect Houston Carson to. But Jaquan Brisker had a strong end to the practice, including a tip pick and a batted down pass from Justin Fields. The pick did not happen from Justin Fields. It was from Trevor Siemian. But I will say, I mean, Kyler Gordon looks very good. He's going to be in the nickel position for this defense, which means Kindle Vildor is going to be on the opposite end if things stay the same. So obviously Jalen Johnson's going to be CB1, but Kyler Gordon really, really excelled today in that nickel position. I mean, I would have loved to see Roquan Smith perform today, but it just didn't happen. As far as Robert Quinn goes, he seemed very motivated. Getting to the ball was, I mean, our offensive line is not very good, so getting to the ball was very easy for him. But I will say accountability is huge in this new coaching staff. We've talked before in this podcast about how, the Bears seem to, really tug on Justin Fields a little bit too much. But the thing is that is not the case. On the outside looking in, maybe, but like actually seeing what's going on at practice changes everything. If he made a mistake, for sure, he's getting yelled at. If he can't get the ball out a little bit quicker, which is something he's worked on in this offseason, if he can't get that ball out quick, that coach is going to be in his ear about it. And Justin's going to be able to take it because great skilled players like hard coaching like that. They don't like to get babied. They don't like anything like that. Tough players like that. As far as the defense goes, Matt Eberflus was all over Travis Gibson today. His speed and everything like that was not up to par as far as Matt Eberflus wanted. But I mean, he is on people's cases. I love it. This is Coach Tyler coming in saying, I love that. Literally the one thing that I am very excited about is this seems like it's a very championship built culture. That they're at least starting, and it's not that they're going to be winning anything soon, but it's a very common type of culture that you see in clubhouses like this that spark different leaders to come up. Eddie Jackson was appearing more in the leadership role today than normal. If somebody got yelled at on the defensive line, Eddie Jackson was in their ear. I explained to my mom, I said, look, I would be very, very surprised if you don't hear some kind of locker room issue at any point in time this season. Not because some people is actually going at their throats, but because they're very passionate guys playing a very passionate sport. They're doing this for a living. They want to win. This team is going to go through a ton of crap this season, and it's going to be okay. In all, it's going to be passion that drives his team. It's going to be that strong, hard-nosed culture that's going to be set in by the coaching staff, the high expectations, holding people accountable for their actions if they mess up, stuff like that. They're running extra sprints if they mess up. Like, this isn't oh, man, you made it to the league. Congratulations. You made $1 million. You're not going to run as much. No, you get to run up and down this massive hill in the back of the practice thing. You screw up, that's going to happen. Very, very impressed by what I saw today. Unfortunately, Tevin Jenkins was not there, so he wasn't. I wasn't able to see any growth from him today. But all in all, it made me excited to watch some football, and that's coming next Thursday. But it didn't change how I felt about the team for sure. It made me. How could you not want to root for a team like that after experience like Travis Gibson gave me today, and Justin Fields being that fan favorite, seeing growth from him? I mean, it's very tough not to be like ecstatic, like, oh man, what can we do this year? I'm totally okay with the 9-8 season if that's what we get. It sucks. We're probably not going to make the playoffs if that happens, but a 9-8 season finishing over 500 is a win in my book. If you're talking about successful season, though, still saying a playoff win or just getting to the playoffs. Definitely think that there are a lot of people sleeping on this team, though. Like I said before, my standpoint on them being a bottom 3 team, still think that's bullcrap. I'm not willing to sit here and say that. In fact, I think they're a lot better than what people are making it out to be. So just excited to see them prove a lot of people wrong. They're going to be one of those teams that everybody's going to be like, where did they come from? Watch for them in week 1 because this secondary is going to be a problem for Trey Lance. But that's it for my story. Very exciting. Very exciting. If you have any questions too about it, I am more than happy to, but I think I might have covered all the bases. But if you have anything, player interaction, anything, like, let me know. Comments too. I see a couple people are watching this live. So, feel free to leave a review down if you're listening to this later as well. Do you have
yeah, so I think we glanced over this. I don't even think we touched on. Did we touch on Trey Lance being the starting quarterback for the 49ers?
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I didn't say that specifically because it's kind of cut and dry. I think I predicted that Jimmy Garoppolo would still be the starting quarterback, but I mean, I think that
officially Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers head coach, said that they're moving to Trey Lance as a QB1, and then he mentioned that their goal is to get Jimmy G up and healthy and to get him traded. So
yeah.
they've made that very public. I mean, it's what everyone's kind of known at this point. And again, like we said, give it 3 or 4 weeks and he'll be a Seahawk.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything else that you want to talk about before?
No, I was gonna ask about Tevin Jenkins, but like you said, he wasn't there. So how'd that offensive line look protecting Justin Fields today, though?
There were a couple moments where it looked very iffy, but the thing is, there was a lot of frustration on that side of the ball following that, which made it kind of okay for me. The coaches were livid. Like, we're not okay with this. You're going to be held accountable for that. And on top of that, the intensity on the team was through the roof. You heard the defense hooting and hollering at every turnover, every pressure, every, I guess sack that you could call it, because they didn't have pads on today. They can't have pads on. But, there was a lot of, think of your typical high school, practice. If your defense makes a play, you're going to hear a lot of trash talk. You're going to hear a lot of, where you at? And like stuff like that. You're going to hear a lot of that because you want to put, Coach Tyler, I'll get to your comment here in a sec. But as far as the intensity and everything, there's a lot of competition, and that's not just position wise, but it's offense versus defense. We're not going to let you go through. We're going to find the holes in your offense and we're going to make you better. That kind of feel. Coach Tyler's asking, what about Michael Schofield and Riley Reif? Okay. From what I saw, both players are kind of working their way into the starting rotation. I'm not sure how much this, I don't know how much I would take out of this. I am a full believer that Riley Reif can start. Michael Schofield is also a pure candidate for sure. Just wait for them to get a little bit more work in, but I expect them to be week 1 starters. But if not, they've got a lot of competition. I know Tim Patrick, I think, had a hand injury today. So he had limited amount of work. And so Doug Kramer, the former Illinois center, got some work in today with the ones because of that. But yeah, as far as Michael Schofield goes and Riley Reif, as far as protection goes from those two, I was okay with it. There wasn't anything, Riley Reif, I believe, maybe not. I want to say Riley Reif was on the edge for some reason, playing the tackle spot, but I might have been wrong. I might have been looking at the wrong. Yeah.
No. As far as Riley Reif, throughout his entire career, he's kind of just been a swing offensive lineman. And for those who aren't aware of the term of swing tackle, that just genuinely refers to a tackle that can play both left or right, and it usually refers to a backup. But Riley Reif has been a swing offensive lineman, playing pretty much any single position he can or needs to be outside of center. So And that's why I view that as a good signing. If he starts, he starts, but he's definitely a good backup, just offensive lineman, not
Yeah.
particularly a guard or tackle.
Yeah, I mean, Reef was putting up a good fight against, the ones, so against, Robert Quinn. Being able to protect that quarterback's huge, and to be able to come in and do that on limited snaps and the first day of training camp was big. Um, Coach Tyler asking about Braxton Jones. Yes, he did get some first string work today actually. And I think that's just because they were starting to work a little bit more people in, just because Tevin Jenkins wasn't there, and then also Tim Patrick got hurt too. So you're gonna hear a couple names that ran with the ones today, but that probably won't stick. And Braxton Jones being one of them specifically, but I'm not. I, what I will say about the offensive line, as far as Braxton Jones goes, not a starter,
Yeah, if
but
he starts, it's an issue.
it's an issue
Um,
for sure. But the run game, if you're going, because what I'm hearing a lot this offseason is that the Bears are going to be like a huge run team. But if you're going to be a run team, you need to figure out that offensive line, because that was horrendous today. The only thing that worked pretty much was Justin Fields being able to get somebody the ball. He had a nice couple runs too. It was very nice to see. Outside the pocket and being able to scramble outside and have a design play like that was just so much fun to see. It's like, because I mean, how many times did you hear last season? Why aren't the Bears and Matt Nagy scheming him to be scrambling outside the pocket and making throws on the run? Like, that happened today. That happened for sure. You're seeing a lot of
as
Darnell
it
Mooney
should.
corner routes, Cole Kmet corner route that was very beautiful. Like I said, just over the shoulder, beautiful catch. You could find that on the Bears Twitter or my Twitter. I think I retweeted it. But I mean, beautiful work from Justin Fields and the skill players. O-line needs some help though, and it's just very clear, cut and dry. But I think the more that Michael Schofield and Riley Reef work their way into this offense, it's not going to patch up the hole completely, but it's going to stop the leak, if that makes a little sense. So that's what I have to say about that. Any other questions before we move on?
To my Braxton Jones point, for those who aren't quite well aware, what was it, 5th round you guys drafted him?
I want to say it was 5th or 6th.
Fifth or sixth. Braxton Jones is an offensive lineman the Bears drafted in the 5th or 6th round out of Southern Utah State. So not Utah, the Pac-12. It's Southern Utah State.
Yeah.
And he kind of caught on at the combine. For those wondering, and I'm pretty sure he was on my list of players who stood out at the combine. But he's just a big ball of clay, basically. So
On
he
5.
was a project. So again, like I said, if he starts, either two things happen: either he progressed way faster than anyone could have expected, or you guys have just absolutely pooped the bed.
One thing that I will say before I move on, special teams was actually a pretty big emphasis at the start of practice today. Something I found pretty interesting. They're still looking to find a good punt returner. Byron Pringle was the one that impressed me the most today, specifically. If he can punt, I believe he took one back today at practice. But it was Byron Jones, Velus Jones Jr. Surprisingly, Khalil Herbert got in the mix for catching punts and kicks.
He was a return man in college.
He was doing pretty good. And David Montgomery got in the mix as well.
Ooh, I don't like that.
But it wasn't like the back guy for sure. It was like the next row up to the left. So I want to say, Daz Newsome was also involved there. Big fan of Daz, and he made a good play today as well. I mean, kind of contorted his body in a Terry McLaurin way and made a catch that was crazy with the second stringers, to the point where I was like, ooh, who was that? And then when I saw Newsome on the back of the jersey, I was like, no way. Like, But yeah, I mean, just overall today, as far as special teams production, they really, really focused on just blocking primarily. But yeah, and then last question. Coach Tyler saying Ebner, did he get some? Ebner, the running back, I believe from Oregon. Um, might be wrong there, but yes, he did get some work in. I believe it was with third string offense. Um, but I mean, solid work from him. Um, Nothing really too crazy. I mean, you're a pro athlete, but at the same time, I mean, he made a couple good cuts and, created some separation today that impressed me. So that was cool. Um, but anyways, I took up a lot of time on this podcast talking about that, so I apologize. But it's time to move on to our pigskin pick'em Colts schedule.
I'll talk here for a little bit so you can catch your breath.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so
Get some water.
yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and kick it off, and then I'll count your win totals.
Oh, you'll count it for me?
Yeah, I'll do it for you. No worries.
I mean, shoot. All right. Well, they open up week 1, playing the Texans. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Texans don't win any games this season. So the Colts are winning that one. But week 2 is where it gets fun, because it's the Jaguars versus the Colts. And then I think this is where we first get to see our actual test of Trevor Lawrence, and we can see how Trevor Lawrence is going to play. But I have the Colts winning that as well. They have their first loss in week 3 against the Chiefs. And then they go on to lose the next 2 as well. So they lose against the Titans and the Broncos in week 4 and 5.
Okay.
They play the Jaguars again. I'll have them beat the Jaguars there, and I'll have them beat the Titans as well in the next week. This game, this would be week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Week 7 is where it gets really, really fun because that's the Commanders versus the Colts. So Carson Wentz is coming back home, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna have them lose. We're gonna have the Commanders win that game.
Okay.
Then they play the Patriots in week 8. We've already covered our thoughts on the Patriots. They're kind of on a downhill spiral there. So we have the Colts winning against the Patriots.
Love it.
And then we'll have them losing against the Raiders and then losing against the Eagles. Then we'll have them
That one's
beating
in Indy. That's cool.
Yeah, that's in Indy. I was actually looking at going to that game. I was deciding between a Colts and Bears game. I had to go with the Bears. Experience some of that bear weather we were talking about earlier in the episode.
Oh, baby.
But then they play the Steelers. I'll have them beat the Steelers. And I will have them losing to the Cowboys, losing to the Vikings, and losing to the Chargers. And then I'll have them win out the last 2 games of the season against the Giants and Texans.
Right. So that brings your win total to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they finish with a 8-9 record.
Yeah.
I will say this, experiencing, pro football or just any football in Lucas Oil after you've experienced it, like, the scouting combine when we went there. Definitely recommend because it's such a cooler atmosphere. Lucas Oil is such a cool place to be. So if you're still thinking about it, I mean, if it's a possibility, definitely try to look at that game because it'd be cool. Heck, I might even look at tickets. It'd be cool. Anyways, so I'll go ahead. At Texans, week 1, that's a win. At Jaguars, week 2, that's a win. Versus Chiefs, loss. Versus Titans, I think that's a win. At Broncos, that's a loss. Versus Jaguars, that's a win. At Titans, they'll split, so they'll lose. Versus Commanders, I have them winning because it's at home, and that Colts crowd is nuts. At Patriots, win. At Raiders, loss. Versus Eagles, loss. Steelers, win. Cowboys, I'm going to have them win. Vikings, loss. Chargers, loss. Giants, win. Texans, win. So 1, 2, 3, 4,
It's just
5,
one more
6,
than mine.
7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 more.
10. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go 10-7 this season for the Colts. I'm all in. Give me Matt Ryan, baby. He'll choke in the playoffs, so it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so you can go ahead and start with the Jaguars.
Oh, the Jaguars have 4 preseason games. It's quite interesting.
What's up with that?
Yeah. NFL, you have some explaining to do. Anyways, so week 1, we'll shift to the Jaguars schedule here. This is also interesting because it's Jaguars versus Commanders. And for those wondering why I'm saying that's interesting, because it's Doug Peterson, former Super Bowl winning head coach for the Eagles, and Carson Wentz. And I think this game is just going to be a slugfest. I don't think it's going to be a good game. But just because I have my thoughts on Carson Wentz, we're going to have the Jaguars win that. As I said, probably 2 minutes ago, I'll have them lose week 2 against the Colts. I'll have them lose week 3 against the Chargers. I have them lose week 4 against the Eagles. We'll have them win week 5 against the Texans. We'll have them lose week 6 to the Colts again. We'll have them beat the Giants in week 7, lose to the Broncos in week 8, lose to the Raiders in week 9, lose to the Chiefs in week 10, lose to the Ravens in week 11, finally lose or finally get a win to the Lions, and then we'll have them beat the Titans as well, and then lose to the Cowboys, beat the Jets, and beat the Texans. We have them at 7 wins, boys.
Ooh.
Spicy.
That's not bad.
Oh, yeah, Hall of Fame game. Yep.
Oh. Who?
Are they playing the
Jaguars,
Jets?
Raiders?
I thought the Jets were the Hall of Fame game.
I thought so too, but apparently not. All right. So what did you say that you had them on?
7 wins.
All right. So that's pretty good. All right. So let's see. It's 7-10. All right. Just a second here.
That's more wins than I would have expected going into it. If you would have asked me without looking at their schedule, I think I would have probably said 5 or 6.
Yeah, the schedule. I'm expecting some growth out of Trevor Lawrence. I think they're going to pick up a couple wins when they should lose. But okay, so at Commanders, that's going to be a win strictly because Doug Peterson knows how to scout his own quarterback. Come on now. Versus Colts, that's a loss. At Chargers, that's a loss. At Eagles, that's a loss.
Stop it. Okay.
Versus Texans, that's a win. At Colts, that's a loss. Versus Giants, that's a win. Versus Broncos, I'm going to give them the win here, actually. That's going to be one that they should lose, but they will win. Let's see. Versus Raiders, they'll lose. At Chiefs, they'll lose. Versus Ravens, they'll lose. Lions, they'll lose. Titans, they'll win. Cowboys, they'll lose. At Jets, they'll win. At Texans, they'll win. Versus Giants, they'll win. So that's 1, 2, 3,
Wow.
4, 5, 6,
goodness.
7 wins. So still 7-10. Just picking up a win in a different area. So not bad. Let's see. Yeah. So anyways, so that'll do it for our Pigskin Pick'em this week. But We got some fantasy sleepers for you guys before
The
What's
two
up?
people in the chat too, if you guys want to chime in on this subject, because Lord knows it's about to get to fantasy draft time. But I actually have 4 for you. We'll make the 4th one quick.
Okay.
But do you want me to name all 4, or do you want to go back and forth?
Go ahead and name all 4.
All right. So Rashad Bateman, for the Ravens at wide receiver. And these are all sleepers, underrated players that I think can probably outperform their position. And honestly, he's the first guy that popped into my head. Lamar Jackson's finally back. He'll be fully healthy, and I know people like to trash on him for being a running back, but he can throw the football. And he's now number 1 wide receiver on this team now that Marquise Hollywood Brown is gone. So I would really expect him to take a big leap in year 2. The guy I was having conflict with adding on this list was Gabriel Davis of the Buffalo Bills. I didn't have conflict because I thought he was going to be bad. I just think I don't know if I can consider him a sleeper at this point in his career, because I know he had a few good games last year where he really kind of cemented his name there. But we'll put him on him because I do think he's I'm not going to say 1,000 yards this year, but I think he could. I wouldn't be surprised if he put up an 800-yard season.
Okay.
So we'll keep him on that list. I think he's a good, solid, probably number 3 wide receiver, maybe a flex every few games. And then the guy that I've been really high on throughout this entire process, a guy I know Matt has been really high on throughout the entire process, is Rashid White, the running back out of ASU, who actually got drafted by the Niners.
Okay.
And it was a perfect situation for him. This isn't so much have to do with the love of the back, because I did love him. He is 6'2". He had the speed. One of my crushes out of this class. But he finally, he's in a good situation. He has a good offensive line. And the Niners have really been starved for like a bell cow back. And they've always done the back by committee approach. And now they finally get that guy to come in here. And even if he splits touches in the first half of the season, he's still going to get the playing time. But that back half of the season, when it really starts to matter in fantasy football, that is when I think he's going to start putting up, I wouldn't say 20 bomb games, but I mean, he might get you a 20 bomb here every once in a while in your season. And the last guy I just want to touch on real quick is Tim Patrick, Broncos wide receiver, not the other Tim Patrick. But I I think he finally has a good quarterback to throw to him. He's put up 700 yard seasons the past few seasons. He put up 5 touchdowns last season, 6 touchdowns the season before. And I'm just really excited to see what he's going to do with an actual quarterback throwing to him. And the same thing goes, like I said, with Gabe Davis, a good, number 2 or number 3 wide receiver that I think you can watch out for. Meanwhile, like a Bateman is a big boomer bust kind of guy, but with the stability of Gabe Davis or Tim Patrick is number 3, I feel pretty confident in those 4 guys.
Okay. Solid. My turn. I'm going to start off with one of the guys that I met today, Cole Kmet. You might say, stop it. This guy can't catch, blah, blah.
He's improved. This guy can't catch.
He's improved a lot. From what I saw, he didn't drop a ball today. So, if he can develop a little bit more separation, I can expect him. All I got to say is there's going to be some deep routes to Cole Kmet. Look at like a Zach Miller type tight end this time around.
Wow.
And next up, and I truly believe that Cole Kmet can be a very good end zone target as well. I think he's taken some from Jimmy Graham as well, but I don't think that he's going to be a combination of the two. I think he'll be, he'll be good, but he'll be good enough to stay on the team as well. Next up, this guy shouldn't be a sleeper, but he is because he's falling in like every mock draft that I've done for fantasy. Michael Thomas. Everybody's falling asleep on him, man. It's ridiculous. The player, you can get him in a late round. You're not gonna see him go in the first 3 rounds for sure. In the 4th round, that's where you'll see him. I think maybe late 3rd round is when you could potentially see him actually, but 4th, 5th rounds are where he's starting to pop up in terms of fantasy rankings for ESPN. So he's definitely an option. And then there's this team that may or may not have drafted an offensive lineman in the 1st round to better their running game. And that team is the Dallas Cowboys. And that running game that's going to be complemented is Ezekiel Elliott.
No, he's not even running back 1 there anymore.
That's what people are saying right now. This is you sleeping on Ezekiel Elliott this year, but I'm telling you, this guy is going to be very, very good. I'm expecting the biggest breakout season of him. And then last but not least, just because, I like a rookie. I like a rookie very much. As you listened to the last episode, I drafted lots of them. And it's called Chris Olave. If you're going to put Michael Thomas as a sleeper receiver, you got to put the guy that's going to be most complimented by him, and that's going to be Chris Olave. The Saints even, decided, hey, let's protect Jameis Winston and, get Trevor Penning in the 1st round as well. Guess what? He's going to have a little bit more time in the pocket to throw to these guys. Chris Olave is a deep threat. Expect him to pop off for you a couple games, maybe at a flex position if you need him. Right at the right moment, he's going to have some big yard games. But that's who I have as my fantasy sleepers, just my 4. Call me crazy on one of them, maybe 2, but whatever. I don't care. This is great. This is the whole point of fantasy sleepers in general. Call me bold takes, whatever. But it's Weddle time, baby. And I believe is it tied right now? Let's see. Hold on a minute. Let's check.
I'm pretty sure it's either tied or you're up by 1.
Yep. And I won last time, so that means I get to pick which one I get.
Sure, if you want 1, you want 2, it's up to you, my guy.
I want 2. I want 2 for sure. If you haven't done the Weddle and you're in the comments, or if you have done the Weddle, sorry. If you have done the Weddle and you're in the comment section, don't spoil anything. But
it's a new Weddle by 8 minutes, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
So unless these boys have done the Weddle in the last 8 minutes,
pay attention. Stop doing that. I'm just kidding. All right. Who's your first player? Is it Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it's Jalen Hurts. For those who don't know, this is easy. We're doing easy.
Oh,
what? We're doing easy. Easy, we help each other out. Hard mode is when we're actually competing.
NFC, not NFC. A quarterback. 6'1". Who's 6'1"?
Older than 24.
Yeah, so let's go with I don't know who's 6'1", but maybe DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, so he is a wide receiver, not in the West or East. So he's thinking
between the ages of 25 to 28.
Okay.
Wide receiver in the NFC. Mike Evans. He might be too old.
NFC South wide receiver. That's not Tampa Bay. He's too tall. You're looking at maybe 27, 26 now. DJ Moore?
DJ Moore, I think, is too short. It could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay, but he's not in Carolina. This is rough.
Oh, Michael Thomas. No shot. I realize Michael Thomas is that tall.
Is it Atlanta then?
It has to be an Atlanta wide receiver.
Calvin
This
Ridley.
one gets tough for this being an easy one.
Calvin Ridley. There we go.
Forgot that I didn't assume he was going to be in here.
All right. So, can we just note every time that we've played, we've gotten 100% wins, like 100% win
On the
percentage.
hard, on the ones that
Yeah.
matter.
So there we go. All right, Ben, first guess.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
Wow, that did nothing.
NFC defensive
All
player.
right, I'm going with Roquan. Okay, so he's
Special
close.
teams question mark.
Yeah. By the way, I saw Cairo Santos today. That guy is so short, 5'6". He looks like a midget compared to everybody else, and I love it. If that's an insensitive name, I'm sorry. Anyways, next.
Okay, well, it might be punter or special teams. If it is, we're screwed. So, but we're gonna continue to try to guess. Well, we'll do some defense for Coach Tyler. Shaq Thomas. Yep, right there. Yep. Thompson. Oh, sorry.
NFC South again. Number
Okay.
7.
My day guess linebacker. That was kind of stupid.
I'm gonna go with Leonard Fournette.
It's not a linebacker. It's not a linebacker. Don't guess linebacker. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking Darius Leonard. I'm stupid.
Oh, he does wear 7, but he's 27 years old, NFC South.
Oh, so that means it is a special team. My lord.
Who wears number 7?
Number 7.
I think I might have a guess.
I couldn't tell you who the kicker or punter for either of these teams are. I probably could. And I'm going to hear their name. I'm going to be like, is it Graham? It can't be Graham. Type in Graham Gano, though. See if it's a punter.
Kicker.
Oh, it's a kicker. Oh, it's a kicker. Gosh. Oh, that's the kicker. When I think of NFC South kickers, I meant punters. But when I think of kickers, Graham Gano is the first one who comes into mind when I think of NFC South. It's a freaking kicker. And it's a kicker for the Saints or Falcons. I think we call this one a wash if you think you know something.
All right. I'm going to go for I think he's a punter. What's his name? I want to say it was like Josh Lambo for the Panthers, but
Lambo I thought was okay. He might be right. I don't know. Type in Lambo. See what happens when you type in Lambo.
Yeah, I tried Lambo. Yeah,
Dang.
I thought it was. Anyways,
well, it's either for the Saints or Falcons. Do we want to call on a Saints friend? Oh, Youngo Who?
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
I forgot about Youngo Who.
Let's go. That's another dub. That's 2 straight. So that'll be 4-2 me. I look bad on you, buddy. I'm sorry. Young Hoku, come on now. Don't sleep.
The legend.
So next up, we have Gridiron Goofs. Just to finish it off, round us off. Who got last?
You did. I forgot what we did. We did Marvel movies.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, this is definitely your pick.
Yeah. This is going to be quite.
But
the
best potato chip flavors draft.
Okay. Whoa. I'm changing this on the fly with you. Best chip flavor draft.
Chip flavor. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're not going to limit ourselves to potato chips.
What's the difference?
A Dorito's not a potato chip.
Okay, I mean, I would count it as that tortilla chip, whatever, bro.
Okay, I was just making sure. I was making sure Doritos were in play, my guy.
Yeah. All right. So, just chip flavor then, and you get first pick. So,
this is gonna be bold for the first pick, but I know if I don't go here, Ryan's gonna go here. and it is a Dorito flavor.
It's a nacho.
It's the sweet and spicy chili Doritos.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the classic, the Cool Ranch Doritos.
It's a shame that you left the best. It's a shame you took the worst tasting Dorito right there.
No, that one's great, man. There's nothing better than that.
That's
I'm a Cool Ranch guy, but sweet and spicy is the best one out of all of them. So
yes,
whatever.
yes, no doubt. This is where, you know what? Number 2, we got to go. You called me old here. Go Salt and Vin, my friend.
No, oh my god,
Was that where you were going?
yeah. I literally had them today. I had Jimmy John's. Dude,
Oh,
that makes me
Salt and
so
Vinegar's
mad.
phenomenal.
Also, check out this tan line I got today. Isn't that sick? It's for my hat. Anyways, so, what do we got? Come on. There's got to be another one, right? Not another
Oh,
great
I have
one.
a next one that comes right to mind.
I mean, I guess I got to go with the nacho cheese Dorito, right? Like the original red bag. Like,
Sure.
I mean, you might as well, right?
Okay, well, my next one, and this might be bold, it might not be bold. Pizza Pringles. Pizza Pringles. A good old pizza Pringle, my friend.
It's a pretty good one. That's a good pick.
It's out of the box, but it's.
Oh, dude.
I don't eat a lot of chips, so this is where it gets tough.
Yeah, I know. I don't either. But like, this is a good topic. Dare I say, sour cream and onion chips are pretty good. No,
Yeah,
I'm going barbecue.
Okay, well, good thing you went barbecue because I never go barbecue. Hot take: anything barbecue flavored that's not barbecue is trash. And that's proven by science.
No, it's not. I think your opinion's just garbage.
Well, thank you for the sour cream and onion chip, my friend.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Because,
no problem.
Because we're doing that. And then I know how I'm loud off. My last one, it's not bold. Call me a child for what my last one's gonna be, but I don't care.
I don't know. Dude, I'm going Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
All right, well, we were thinking the same alley there.
Okay.
That should have just given away. It's our last one. We're gonna round it off. Call me a child all you want. Yeah, we're going with some Fuego Takis, my friend.
Oh, ew.
Those are
Takis are
good.
nasty.
Bro, it's because you don't have that tolerance.
No, they just taste like chalk. Garbage.
It's because you don't have the tolerance. And that's okay.
No, I just don't enjoy eating nasty stuff.
You don't enjoy flavor, and that's okay.
Bold take here. I forget what they're called. But they're the chili and cheese Fritos. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Oh, those are good. I forgot about. Those are my favorite, actually.
Steal of the draft right there, baby. Come on.
That is the steal of the draft. I forgot those existed.
So I want to.
I'm changing out. I forgot. We're changing out the Takis for the sweet twist barbecue ones. You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the ones that I'm talking about.
Were you talking about chili cheese or the sweet twist? Because there's a difference.
Oh, there is a difference. Yeah,
there is a difference.
I just remembered because that's what. Okay, because the chili cheese, I'll be completely honest with you. I like the barbecue ones more, and that's kind of the ones that I was thinking of. But like, I mean, I'll take either one. The chili cheese ones are good.
It's up to you. It's your pick. So I'm switching out. So
they're chips. I'm not gonna fight over them. You could take them.
I don't care. Yeah, okay.
Sub out your garbage Taki pick.
Thank you.
For
those who don't know,
I'll be happy.
I know Jackson would appreciate this. My dearest friend Jackson. An honorable mention that I'm not going to add to this because no one's going to understand how good these taste. But jalapeno Cheetos are so
They're decent.
good.
Are
And then
Cheez-Its
lime
crackers or chips?
crackers. And
Mm,
lime, have you had the lime Lay's before?
no, but I'm not gonna lie to
Those
you.
are
I
good
kind of
too.
like the pickle chips.
Ooh, don't like those.
All right. You got any closing thoughts before we round this bad boy out?
No, it'll be good. It was good to come back, but this time, a week from today, football is back.
We're gonna be
So
recording, I'm assuming, right after the game's done.
right after the game's done. Yep.
So get that done. I want to say thank you to the guys at Windy City Gridiron for giving me the tickets today. Um, those guys are so cool. I actually met up with them, shook their hand, had a nice conversation and everything. Um,
Yes. Okay. You're good.
yeah, I see what you did there. Nice. Ben just swapped sides if you're listening to us later on in the week. But guys, this show is about to kick up like a crazy notch. I mean, we're gonna be just about episode 30 through 35 is when I'm fully expecting viewer counts and everything to go up. And this is when my prediction, or not prediction, but spoiler, is that this podcast is going to be among the best podcasts for American football in the United States, in the world, wherever you want to say. This will be a top podcast. And we'll get some more people on here as well to get us through the preseason. But
Real quick,
I
real
just want to
quick.
say,
Did
yeah,
did we talk about the biggest news that broke last week?
what's that?
The name change on Twitter.
Oh yeah. My new Twitter is at R Matthews NFL. Trying to stick to primarily NFL news, but if I get anything else, in which I have, including like sources, anything like that, I will be providing that as well. But I do want to say thanks to those that actually, gave me the tickets and everything like that. They were cool guys. Thank you guys for staying up with us. It's like almost 12:30 at night. Our Wi-Fi wasn't working earlier. It was a big problem. We didn't know if we were going to be able to record tonight. So being able to do that was really cool. So thank you guys for coming on. If you made it this far, we want to say thank you for listening all the way through. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Pigskin Project, and we have a lot scheduled for next week's show, as I said. So make sure you're subscribed or following us on all platforms. We'd like to give a big thank you to Anchor.fm for putting in our podcast, Uppercuts Grooming, Regional Radio Sports Network, and Overtime Sports Network, which Ben is holding up with his hand, for helping us promote our podcast. Please leave a review down below, as that helps us more than you know. And that's it for this week. So thanks again for tuning in to the Pigskin Project. Football's back, baby.